What's going on, everybody? I'm Giant Opinion Sports. Hey, I finally got my new laptop. We are back in business, and the New York Giants are back in business as well. 3-1. This just feels great. These injuries on this team at this particular moment are concerning. I mean, every year with this team and injuries, let's be honest, it's not a good feeling when just both your quarterbacks are out of the game and you're just doing direct snaps to your running back. That's never good. Hopefully some of these guys will be back next week. But listen, this game was a lot closer than, it had to be. Chicago really scored 6 points, in my opinion. Richie James fumbles that punt return, which is just not acceptable. He was real loose with the ball, just lackadaisical. I don't know what the hell he was doing. I'm not even sure he saw the defender until the last second, but you can't have that. So he's got to get that fixed. And then I believe it was Chicago's second drive, a 60-yard pass down the field. And I don't know if, I only saw one replay of it, but it looked like the receiver got away with a good little, decent little push right there. It is what it is. This is part of the game. Refs can't see everything on the field. The defense at times was frustrating me. I'll say that the 3rd and 20 conversion had me pulling my hair out. But Wink adjusted later, in the game, throughout the game, and really turned it around. I just got to give him credit. There was another 3rd and long in the second half, I believe, and Wink sends 3, plays coverage behind it, and gets the ball back for the offense. So overall, it's a great defensive game overall. I mean, the penalties, too many penalties, and just stupid blips here and there. Overall, though, it was still a great game. Very entertaining from a defensive standpoint. Especially considering we lose Julian Love really early in the game, and Aaron Robinson pretty early. I believe that was the first quarter. The defense really showed some mental toughness, because Fields was making this defense work. He juked a few defenders out of their shoes. Shout out to Sexy Dexy. He's the first person that really comes to mind on the defensive side. Man, that guy is just an animal. And this was his best game as a Giant. He was flat out dominant today. And I believe he had 2 sacks today. And he was pretty stout in the run game. I saw him kind of miss a couple tackles here and there, or just have a running back bounce off of him. But for the most part, he was just excellent. The whole team did a really good job of shutting down the running backs. They bring in Jalen Smith. He had a very good impact on the defense from not even really knowing the scheme very much. I mean, I think he was signed like 3 days ago. How much could he have known? But he looked really good. Tay Crowder had flashes here and there. But I have been noticing that, he's been having trouble recently just getting through traffic. He's going to have to improve in that department, pure and simple. So, he's never going to be great at getting off blocks, but you can avoid him. Azeez had that great sack fumble in the 3rd quarter. I mean, he is just an animal. He is built. He looks different. Listen, it's looking like he's going to be a great piece for this Giants defense. The sky is just the limit for that kid. And Kayvon Thibodeaux made a heads-up play, on that sack fumble, getting down, jumping on the ball. From Kayvon's point, he only had 1 pressure today. He had a chance for a sack, but he got juked out. He's doing okay, though, I think. I like what I've seen from him in the run game. He really seals off the edge nice. He's probably a little bit out of shape right now, and on top of that, he's way overwhelmed and excited, for playing in his first games here and getting actual snaps, because I don't think he was limited at all today. I felt like he was out there like 90% of the snaps. So I think as, Kayvon gets in better shape, we'll start to see the impact plays come from him. It takes time for these edge guys, to get going. Secondary was great again. They've been great all year. Who would have seen that come? Belton, McKinney were both rock solid out there. Doherty is playing out of his mind right now, out of this world. And when Robinson went down, Fabian Moreau comes in and was awesome. He was breaking up plays and coverage. He looked really physical to me. He looks like a starting cornerback, from the little bit I've seen of him. I've honestly enjoyed his play so far this year. This Bears offense really has been good as any other running the ball. And the defense really put a clamp on them, especially the running backs. Offensively, it's a mess over there in Chicago. But I came away very impressed. I thought the run defense was the best we've seen so far this year. And week 1 was pretty damn good against Derrick Henry. Now, Daniel Jones, Evan Neal are dinged up at the moment. The wide receivers are a huge issue. It's as bad of a unit right now as I've seen in my life as a Giants fan. They can barely catch, drop after drop from these guys. They aren't getting open really. And Galladay is just washed. I'm officially done with him. It only took 4 games this year. I'm done. Sills is struggling to catch the ball. His awareness is poor when it comes to finding the first down marker. I don't know what that is, but I've seen it a few times this year. Richie James is the only real option at this point in time, and the opposing defenses know it. The tight ends are average at best, I think. Kafka does a good job kind of leaking them out, and getting them open. Bellinger was the leader in receptions today, I believe. 3 for 23 yards. It's not good right now. I'm praying Wandale is back next week. We need him. Tony as well. Them are the only really receivers on this team that can beat man coverage. And right now, that's what every team's doing. They're just coming down on top of the receivers and pressing on them. And 70 yards passing today. Well, Slayton can beat man coverage. He could be that guy, but as usual, he drops another big ball. I just think at this point, he's shot mentally. It's messed with his head so much. So, you can't trust him. Another huge drop on a possible touchdown throw today. He got the pass interference right there, but if he actually catches it, he's got one guy, he's got a good angle to the touchdown. It was probably going to be a touchdown. It's tough right now, man. At least, thank God we got Saquon Barkley. Man, he is just tough to stop right now. He is on another level. And 31 carries today, career high, 146 yards on the ground. He's just been flashy and gritty at the same time, which is what everybody was telling me for the last few years he can't do. So everybody that's been bashing Saquon, they kind of got egg on their face right now. They definitely got their foot in their mouth. Saquon is just different. I don't know. He's on another level. He's as good as anyone in the NFL, any player in the NFL right now, through the first 4 games. Honestly, the Giants got to start pulling up the Brinks truck if he stays healthy this season. But not much to say about Daniel Jones, throwing the ball. Kafka only called 13 pass plays from what I'm seeing. Might have been more, where there was one where he got sacked. Maybe he ran on some of them. They don't count them as pass plays, but, I don't, I don't blame Kafka for only calling so many pass plays. Look at the wide receivers. They just don't have it, pure and simple. Jones did his thing on the ground, that's for sure. 2 rushing touchdowns, and they both looked kind of like the same play. The Bears defense was getting really fooled. That play action, especially in the first half, was just gashing them. They didn't know what was coming. And listen, this was just an excellent called game by Kafka. I think it's easily his best game he called so far. I've been saying, I haven't been making videos, but I've been saying in chat rooms and on streams and stuff, we need to start running the damn ball here in the first half of games. Last week throwing 40-something times when you factor in the sacks. It's just unacceptable with this offensive line, these wide receivers that are out there right now. We've been seeing that the Giants have scored on them drives where Saquon is getting 4 or 5 touches. And we haven't been seeing drives like that until the second half. So, and listen, when Saquon's getting touches like that, and even if he's not too effective, he's only getting 2-3 yards, it still affects every part of the offense. The defense has to honor the threat of Saquon, pure and simple, and that opens up that intermediate part of the field. And when you factor in, the threat of Daniel Jones himself being able to run, the team really has another dimension. Again, today, DJ has 6 carries for 69 yards. 2 of them carries, huge touchdowns, huge. We have seen the first half struggles from this offense. So I'm just proud of this team. It's evident that the Giants aren't the most talented roster in the NFL. And when you factor in all the injuries right now on the team, it's damn impressive. They are 3-1. The coaching has made mistakes here and there, but they've been really, really good. The season ended now, Brian Daboll might be coach of the year. I've come out of every game so far this season and have felt like we have outcoached the other team or, went tit for tat with them. You could argue that Wink got outcoached in the Dallas game last week, but to be fair, they just have a much better roster. And Leonard Williams being out really killed us, and the edge guys were on a snap count. So, to be fair, I'm going to give Wink a pass on it. And with seeing, all the injuries and the little bit of talent that's on the roster, 3-1 is damn impressive. Coaching has put the players in position to win. It's looking like we found our guy in Dable. I'm not going to go too crazy because we've seen collapses from coaching, in the last 6, 7, 8, 9 years, whatever it is. But this does feel a little different. In the past, it's been like moral victories in games. Staying close in a game to a team we shouldn't be. We have a lot more talent. These are straight up just victories, not moral victories. Now the competition here, ticks up. The next few weeks, we got Packers and Ravens back to back. If we can keep them games tight, low-scoring games, I might view this year's team as a possible playoff team. We have a lot of weak teams left on the schedule. We play the Commanders twice, Seahawks, Texans, Lions, and Vikings and Colts aren't world beaters here. They are beatable. It's just like them Titans game, if you ask me. I had no way of making a prediction video, this year. But I've been saying all over that I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants win 9-10 games this year. The offensive line should start to gel and improve as we go through the season. Tony and Wandale are coming back soon, within the next couple weeks, most likely for both of them. And DJ has been playing great recently. The stats won't show it, won't tell that story. But for all the deficiencies on the team right now, he's held it together. And obviously Saquon's been a huge help. If he keeps improving, if Daniel Jones keeps improving like we've seen the last couple weeks, he's going to make Dable have a real tough decision here come the end of the year. And for all fans that's been saying Daniel Jones needs everything perfect around him, he's kind of made them look a little silly. Daniel Jones may have the worst wide receiver core in the NFL right now. Me personally, I think he does. And this is, let's be honest about it, the first 4 weeks, we've been running great, but when we've passed, we've seen it. This is one of the probably bottom 5 worst offensive lines right now in the league. And with all that, Daniel Jones has done nothing but whip. So, I wish he had the good coaching like this, for his entire stay here. We could have been having a completely different, conversation about him. But it is what it is, and we got the situation we got. However it plays out, at least we know as fans, we got the coaching staff that we need here in place. We're good to go. But overall, just to feel the game, it's a bit of a weird game. Very frustrating for me, really most of the game. On a side note, I hope Tyrod Taylor is okay. He took a huge shot to the head on a helmet-to-helmet. Refs were pretty bad today. At least we got the W, but hopefully some of the guys can just get back on the field next week. That's just what just keeps pumping in my head, because if we're going to the next week and all these guys are still out and everybody we lost today are out, it's going to be tough to keep up with the Packers and the Ravens. But I think everybody should be happy. I know there's some Giants fans out there that want us to lose so we can get a good quarterback next year, and a new, young, good stud quarterback. But listen, this team is beating the teams that they're supposed to beat. And that's what I wanted for this season. Because when the talent is there with everybody else, then you start beating them too. So, let's just keep this moving. There's some concerns going forward. Obviously, wide receivers are going to have to step up and get healthy. The injuries are insane. Next week's probably not going to be a good week. The Packers are probably going to trounce us. But we keep it close, we keep it tight. If we can keep it within a touchdown, the Green Bay, right now their offense isn't clicking, full speed. You never know. This defense is surprising. It's going to be a test. I'm going to try and get a video out, a prediction video out on the Green Bay today. I got a few players I want to specifically make a video and talk about. So I got big plans this week. I'm probably just going to go now. I'll just continue to ramble. It's been so long since I made a video. I could probably just keep going and going and going. But I appreciate everybody that is still here, with me. I haven't been very consistent, especially the last, 6-7 months. So just thank you for everybody who's still here and watching. Listen, 3-1, baby. Giants. Giants. This defense is for real. This run game is for real. Let's keep building on it. Get a couple of these wide receivers back. Get Tony and Wandale back. Hey, playoffs? Possibly playoff push. Let's go. Peace, y'all.